My cat wants out. Back. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come ye. So, I'm sure you guys know, based upon my statuses the last few days, that I've been in my feelings about this earth, this world. I mean, who doesn't have their feelings about this earth, this world, this planet, and all the things that are going on, all the things that are happening, all the negative stuff, all the sadness, all the injustice. And we all know, it's no reason to continuously name all the things that are happening in this planet and on this world. But in the midst of me wallowing in all of this disdain for all of the things that are happening, I find myself promoting those messages of disdain. And it's one thing to, have a moment and address the things that are going on and the things that are happening and making, just say the feelings that you have about it in a healthy way. But there's one thing that you have to understand about groupthink and collective consciousness, especially as we are accelerating to a 5D existence, especially as this earth is ascending. You have to understand that you're already programmed to think negatively. You're already programmed to think negatively because you, and the power has always been in people, that when we all think similar things, when all of us and our brainwaves are putting out into the atmosphere in the universe, and we're thinking about the fear of destruction, and we're thinking about the fear of government, and we're thinking about the fear of food shortage, and we're thinking about the fear of natural disaster, and we're thinking about the fear of a police state, or whatever the case may be, and we're thinking about the fear of a murderer that we saw on Facebook or on the news, or we're just thinking about all the bullshit that we see on the news, we're literally being used to create and manifest our negative reality for those beings that do not want to see Earth ascend. We are the power. The power is in the people. It sounds cliche, but on a higher level, on a spiritual level, and on an evolved level, our ability to manifest is being used to create the same situations on this planet that we wish to avoid. So when you find yourself overwhelmed and you find yourself going down that rabbit hole of all these negative things and all of this negative thought, we're literally being used as a pawn to make that negative stuff actually happen. And in that case in point, we need to be able to take control of our thoughts, because our thoughts obviously become things, because we know this in terms of law of attraction on a smaller scale level within our own lives, because we can see this happen and work just on the basic level of, I'm going to think more positively about a job that I want, or I'm going to think more positively about the situation that I already have, and you're going to watch that situation magnify until you get to a better situation. And if you can see those small principles work in your life on a small scale, imagine how that works on a larger scale when you have thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people being fed the same negative information, and then their brainwaves are dwelling on that negative information that they were fed, and in turn we create the reality that they wanted created and not actually the reality that we could have created. Because there was a gentleman by the name of Edgar Cayce that made the point that we can alter the set path of what happens in this universe and what happens in this lifetime. But the way that we alter that path is if a large enough portion of humanity, of this consciousness, aligns itself to create a far different reality than the reality that we're currently set to experience, because many of us have been giving our power away to those lower vibrational feelings. And I'm not judging that, because I'm always there. I'm always in those same thoughts. I'm always the person that's like, oh my God, the world, how could people allow it to get to this point? And it's a frustrating feeling, and I totally get that. And it's hard sometimes not to feel heavy, especially when you know that there are things going on. It's hard not to feel heavy when you know there are issues. There are probably issues in your immediate surrounding. And in that case in point, work on the things that are immediately and directly in front of you, because that creates a larger ripple effect than you think. If everybody on this planet, although that's an unlikely number, if a portion, even a small portion of people on this planet, all work towards an end goal of just focusing on the environment around them, focusing on the immediate situation around them, and finding ways to help fix the immediate situation around them, that creates a universal ripple effect. Because if you're doing that, and then imagine all the other people doing that, somehow things get fixed. Things get fixed on a larger level, but they have to start at a micro level before they branch off into this wonderful worldview that we all wish and that we all want to achieve and that we all want to work towards. But it starts here. It starts on the very super nano micro level of working on ourselves on the inside. And then once we do that, we're in a better position to help the people outside of us. And then once we start fixing and helping the areas outside of us and planting better seeds in the community around us, then that way, then you're starting to affect a worldview, because you're doing it. The person next door is doing it. Somebody across the street and around the corner is doing it. And then eventually you have a healthy functioning community and a healthy functioning relationship with the rest of the world. But we have to start with ourselves first. And then we have to create the reality that we want to see in our immediate environment or facility, because it's hard. I know. I get it. Not downplaying that at all. But when we sit at home, and like I do, even though I'm out here trying to change some things, it's still counterproductive. I'm sitting at home and I'm like, gosh, I really don't like people. Oh, why do they do this? Why can't they just be nice to each other? Why don't we just feed each other? Why do people have to still participate in sex slavery? Oh gosh, this shit is so sick. And it is. It's hard. It's hard to not focus on those things. But with collective consciousness, it's very important that we do not continuously dwell on those things, because the they that we all talk about, although the they is a bunch of different types of groups of beings and people, the they want us and need us. They need us to create the reality that they want us to live in. Because if we all started thinking differently, if we all started changing our perspectives, if we all started thinking about and imagining and manifesting, even if we just take 5 minutes a day, even if more people just took 5 minutes a day to sit down and think about and really imagine and envision the world that they wish to see, instead of taking all of the time that we do in the day to talk about the world that is currently now and that we don't want to see, we're further, law of attraction, we're further putting that energy out. And that negativity is what we're going to continue to see in the world. That is why the news is the way that it is. The news doesn't show you all the wonderful, amazing things that are happening in the world. The news isn't going to show you the guy down the street that started a kitchen pantry. The news isn't going to show you the lady that's doing grassroots work and she's working and doing therapy work in the community. She's never going to, the news is never going to show you that, because those positive images and those positive reflections are going to be the things that you now thinking about. And that's going to be the reality that is created as a ripple effect. But you have to understand that the powers that be that own these different TV stations, that own these news companies, that own these sensational tabloids, are putting out waves of negativity and fear because they need you. At the end of the day, they don't have power without your thought process. They don't have power without your brain waves being sent out into the universe to manifest that fucked up reality that they need to be, for you to be in, so they can continue to have power and control. So in this moment, even if you just take 5 minutes to be like, every day, I'm just going to take 5 minutes to just think about all the goodness that I want to see in this world. I'm going to just take 5 minutes every day to think about all the goodness that I know that I can change in this world. I'm going to just take 5 minutes a day to just think about all the things that I could be doing, but I am not doing currently, and figure out why you're not doing them. And I would tell you that even within a couple of years, even within a year, there's a drastic change, even if you can't see it. Because remember, we keep searching towards these major companies to be a reflection of the changing world. They're never going to be an accurate reflection of the changing world. They're not going to show that shit. Everybody always says it. It sounds cliche now. The revolution will not be televised, and it's not going to be, because who owns TV? So you have to search for the goodness around you to reinforce the things that you're feeling, to reinforce the hard work that you want to put in, to reinforce the heart work that you're putting into the world, because you can't look towards these major things to be a show of what's going on in your world, because you know that everything is being propagandized to you has to do with negativity influence. So you can't look out here to be a reflection of the changing world, because if you're always looking out here for the reflection of the changing world, you're always going to see the negativity that is constantly going to be promoted by the they. So look to yourself, one, and ask yourself every single day, am I taking time to create a better existence? We all know that there's things that we don't like about this existence, hands down. We don't even need to take the time to talk about it or say them anymore, because I'm sure we can all think about those things. But what we don't spend enough time doing is thinking about how we can change those things that we think so much that we don't like about so much. We don't even look at a micro level. Everything starts on a micro level, because if more people started to work on a micro level and started being overwhelmed by the rabbit hole of the macro and the whole picture, and we all started working on our little puzzle pieces, you over there in North Dakota, or you over there in Florida, or you over there in California, or you over there in St. Louis, or you over there on the other side of the world in Brazil, or you over there in the Netherlands, wherever you are, you in Baltimore, you in New Jersey, if you took a piece of that puzzle and you put your energy into fixing that piece of that puzzle, instead of worrying about all the puzzle pieces that you can't fix, that you're not meant to fix, and work on focusing your energy and your wholehearted energy into fixing a problem this big over here, and know in your heart that somebody else is fixing another problem this big over here, and know that there is a group effort to make the whole picture work, the whole picture count. But there is power in collective consciousness. The theys, because there's many theys that we all talk about, the they that wants to see a lot of this destruction happen, the they that wants to see negativity continue to be influenced on this planet, because the they has to stay in control, or want to stay in control for as long as they can stay in control, because we all know that eventually that time comes to an end. You can't hold on to that power forever, because every single day people are waking up. It's not going to always seem like it. It's damn sure not always going to seem like it if the only thing we see on a daily basis of our worldview is the news and Facebook. Our Facebook feeds can sometimes be the most toxic, damaging, psychological perspective that you can feed on. Unless all of your friends are awesome as fuck, and they all post awesome as fuck stuff, I'm pretty sure that you still have people on your news feed that post negative things, that post horrible things, that post things that you don't necessarily want to look at. And then that messes you up for the rest of the day. And then you feel the need to go tell somebody else, because you can't see the negative stuff by yourself. And you got to tell somebody else. And then before you know it was like a domino effect of negativity. So one, on a micro level, you should probably start clearing out your Facebook, or spend less time on it. But you should probably start clearing out your Facebook. Clear out those friends as you go through it throughout the day, and you see it and you're like, oh, such and such posted blase. I don't really know what that's about. I don't really think I want that to be my worldview. Delete. Move on. And go through that cleansing process. And that same cleansing process that you would do online, you do in your reality. You look through your reality. You look through your real situation. You look through your physical situation. You look through your friends. You look through your families. You look through all of these toxic situations. And then you say, hey, okay, such and such in my life is really doing a good job at promoting all the wonderful things and doing all the work. Not saying neglect the fact that there are problems in the world. Focus more so on the work that you're doing to fix the problems. Promote the work instead of promoting the problems. That's as simple as it is. It's changing the equation. It's changing the thought process. Just this tiny bit much so that you can promote a better outcome. So if there are people in your life that are not adding to your life right now, and it takes this next thought, this very important thought, because somebody said sometimes they need our help too. Sometimes people have to help themselves. The only thing that you're responsible for is planting the seeds of goodness in their lives. And if you are noticing that no matter how many good seeds you plant, no matter how much information you give the person, no matter how much you lead as an example, and they're still in the same situation, you're going to start draining yourself. Because not everybody is going to be in the same level. You think about why reincarnation happens. Reincarnation is the continuous recycling of the soul, so it continues to learn lessons so that it becomes a better, fully functioning, not young soul. So some people are not going to get it in this lifetime. Some people may take the seeds that you've planted to the next existence, and that's awesome. And then you still did something. But my martyrdom complex has ripped me a whole new one my whole life, especially in the earlier part of my life, because young Deandra, young fairy thug mother wasn't a fairy thug mother back then. Young Deandra was just Captain Save-A-Ho, and I was out here trying to save all the peoples at the expense of myself, and at the expense of lost opportunities, wasted money, wasted time, things I'll never get back, because I was so busy trying to save people that could not be saved in this particular earth time. And that's okay. And when you get over it's actually ego. When you get over the ego of feeling that you have to fix people, or you have the ability to fix people, you realize and you focus more of your attention on the people that do deserve your help, that are saying to themselves, hey, I want the help. I'm going to start the work, and I'm glad that you're here with me to help support the process. But don't waste your time on people that don't want the work. Don't waste your time on people that are not ready to start the work. Do not waste your time on people that are not ready to start the process, because you can always tell who these people are. Because again, work on you, and working on you around them, that's leading by example. And if at that point you realize that people still aren't picking up on it, and you take it one step further and you go to share the information, you go to share the knowledge, you go to share the seeds, you go to share your testimony, you go to share people what they're working on, you tell them, hey, I'm doing this, this, and this. Hey, I've been feeling this, this, and this lately, but I'm not going to let those, negative emotions get to me. I'm working on it in this, this, and this way. I realize that you go through similar things, so I'm going to tell you what works for me. And if after you do all of that, and they're still in the same situation, and they're still not picking up the seeds that you've been throwing down, you have to realize that at some point you have to remove yourself from those people, because they're not in the position where they can help themselves first, because they have to make the wholehearted decision first before being able to be supported by somebody else, that they even are ready for the change in the first place. Because anybody that's made any major change in their lives that's listening to this right now, I'm sure that you can attest that it was not an easy process. It was not an emotionally easy process. It was not a mentally easy process. But any of you that are watching this right now that has made a concrete change in their lives, or in something in their lives, you know damn well that it wasn't the easiest thing to do. And some people are not ready to face those things. Some people aren't ready to look at themselves in a whole completely different way. Some people are really comfortable being where they're at, because looking at it any other way, looking at themselves truthfully and honestly, is painful. Because you have to destroy some things, and destroy some ideas, and destroy the things that aren't working for you about yourself internally first, before you can begin to rebuild. That's always going to be the process for change. So some people think that process is very painful. Some people don't want to destroy those things. They don't want to look at them to destroy those things. Some people don't want to look at the things in their past that hurt them so badly that they rather be stunted in that place of hurt rather than go through the really painful process of self-discovery. And it's disappointing, yes. And we, of course, want to extend the healing that we got for ourselves to other people. So, we're thinking to ourselves, oh, this healing was good healing. It wasn't really easy healing, but it was productive for my life. And you can show people that. The only thing that you can do is show people that. The only thing that you can do is give people the resources to experience the same amount of healing that you did for yourself, for themselves. But again, I like cliches because they work. You can lead a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. Even if that horse is super thirsty and you can't even fathom or believe why a thirsty horse could be at a watering hole and not drink the water. It's mind-boggling. It's confusing. And sometimes it's not for us to understand why that person that's hurting, that's downtrodden, that's angry, can't let go of all that baggage so that they can drink the water. So, hammering it back down to the original point and how this relates to the original point. The collective consciousness is working on, first, your level of healing. Second, being able to offer the seeds. Again, not looking at it that you're fixing anything or you're fixing other people or you're fixing a situation, that you worked on yourself first. You can't fix yourself. You fixed yourself first. And then from there on, you planted the seeds in other environments and hopefully the environment closest to you so that you can promote change on a larger level by working within first and then working on the outer level outside of you and your immediate community, because then you're able to create change, the change that you want to see in the world. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Again, cliche, sounds corny, but it's real. It's completely real because, again, on the level of just the simple law of attraction and how we know that it works in our lives, it works in the lives of everybody else on this planet and in the world. So don't promote the problems, because promoting the problems only creates more problems. But promote the work that you're doing to solve the problems, because promoting the work gets other people working towards the things that you'd like to see happen on a larger scale level. So stop feeding into propaganda. Stop watching the news and waiting for the next horrible thing to happen, because you're only promoting that fear. And that fear is contagious. You don't even have to cough on anybody. It's contagious. It's contagious all over the internet. You could be just fearful sitting in your own house and your energy is actually seeping out of your pores and your etheric body, and it's going to your next door neighbor and it's out into the air. Once you stop feeding into the fear, you can help other people create the world consciousness that needs to happen for change. And then that's the only thing that you need to focus on. Because at the end of the day, if something major is going to happen, like things majorly have happened in the past, sometimes albeit without our control at all, sometimes it being a natural disaster or whatever the case may be, things are going to happen on this planet. Because things were happening on this planet before us being on this planet. There are certain things that are going to occur. But constantly feeding into that energy of, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Oh my God, do I need to prepare myself? Oh my God, this is going to be so horrible. Oh my God, what about my kids? Oh my God, what about this? Oh my God, what about this? Am I going to have enough of this? Am I going to do, what is going to happen to this world? Oh my God, look at the world. And if you're constantly in that place, and that's what you promote, other people are going to look at it and they're also going to be in that place. And then the domino effect of life, because no matter if you want to ignore it or not, we are interconnected. And not even in a small way, in a super large way. Just the means of connection of, if you look at it like this, you know somebody in your neighborhood, you might not know that person's friend, but that person's friend knows you because of that other person. And now you think about it on a larger world level, there's always a connection to the next person. Even if the connection may be too vast for you to look at, but there's always interconnectedness between people. So when you have a healthier worldview, somebody near you is going to have a healthier worldview. And then that person that has now a healthier worldview is going to have a healthier worldview, and it's influencing somebody near them. And although you may not be able to see where your seeds got planted or where your seeds actually came to, flourishing and fruition, they happened. So instead of, again, I'm going to say it again because this is very important for the idea of collective consciousness and not manifesting the world in which power and control and fear all work hand in hand. Because again, the power is in large groups of people. And if large groups of people are even just taking 5 minutes a day to think about the world that they want to create and the world that they want to create around themselves and the world that they want to see in general. And if you have billions of people taking 5 minutes a day to think about the world that they wish to see, rather than putting all of their energy in talking about the world that they hate that is already happening, there's a lot of frequency shift that happens. Ascension happens faster. Ascension happens a lot easier. Some things can be avoided. But again, don't promote the problems, because the problems are already out there promoting themselves. Problems don't need any more press release. Problems don't need any more publicity. It doesn't. Don't promote the problems. Promote the work that you're doing to solve the problems. Boom. I love you. Have a productive day. If nobody's ever told you, if nobody's told you lately, if nobody's there to tell you, you are beautiful. You're beyond beautiful. You're your own kind of beautiful. Don't compare your beautiful to anybody else's, because everything here is wonderful. You are wonderful. Live in your power, because your power is in there. You've got it. You got to tap into it. First, you got to believe in yourself. And I love you. So you're beautiful, you're powerful, and I love you. But there are other beings out here that love you too. So, peace.